Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Virtual Delegate. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us here every single week. We have loved all of the energy, all of the support. This really is about bringing us together as an industry to explore the future and ask big questions about all of our roles in it. And remember, The Virtual Delegate is interactive, so we want your comments, your questions, your feedback, your point of inspiration throughout the episode. And of course, everybody loves some free chocolate. So if you do that, we will select someone at random at the end of the episode to get this frankly forgettable free bar of chocolate that we will send you in the post. In the unlikely event that you have missed any of the episodes so far, then just type the word recordings in the comments and we'll make sure that you get them. We've had world-class experts on platform, on killer content, on strategy, and on business models. So make sure that whatever you do not miss a single episode. So without further ado, you're here, I'm here, our guests are here. I think we should get started with this week's episode of The Virtual Delegate. So you are welcome to The Virtual Delegate. I think at this point we know that hybrid isn't just the future, it is here right now, and more importantly, it's here to stay. But what impact do hybrid and virtual programs have on format, on agenda, on legacy when we design our events moving forward? Well, today you join us live from Belfast's Hybrid by Design venue, the beautiful ICC Belfast, as we hear from experts across the industry, as we delve into what it is that will take your next virtual or hybrid event and make it unforgettable, but of course, hopefully, for all of the right reasons. So let's take a moment now to meet this episode's guests. Joining us on The Virtual Delegate this week, we welcome Leslie Williams, Managing Director for the Best Cities Global Alliance. Rachel McGuckin is Director of Business Development at Visit Belfast in Northern Ireland. And Steen Jacobson, Vice President at Dubai Tourism in UAE. And first up, we are joined by Steen Jacobson. Steen is the Vice President at Dubai Tourism, where he oversees Dubai's business events and city operations for the official convention bureau of Dubai. Now, prior to joining Dubai Tourism in 2013, Steen held a role as Director of Copenhagen Convention Bureau for 8 years. Another stunning, beautiful city that I've loved spending time in. Dubai has been one of the first destinations in the world to really embrace the hybrid model. So this is an invaluable opportunity to learn from their experience, and we are delighted to have you with us. Steen, thank you for joining us on The Virtual Delegate.
Thank you for having me, David.
It is wonderful to have you on board. Now, Steen, I think everyone knows that you and your team moved quite quickly to explore and pilot the in-person and the hybrid business model, perhaps faster than anyone else. How has everyone found the experience so far?
Well, so far, I must say it has been fantastic. We were fortunate that we were one of the first destinations that could allow our travel, or tourism, hospitality, and event sector to open again. That happened already in July last year. We opened for business events in September. International business events resumed in October last year. And since then, we've had a good number of industry trade shows and exhibitions taking place within some of the key industries for Dubai, such as IT, technology, food, and healthcare. We've also seen a number of conferences held by corporate companies as well as associations. So it's really been terrific to see that the event sector has come back. There's a lot of appetite from organizers that we feel really wants to get back to doing their events again, and the response from delegates has also really been good.
It's so encouraging to hear. And as an industry, as we're looking around at the moment, Steen, and spotting who is moving first and who is experimenting new ways, it feels like Dubai is leading lots of conversations. But I know other destinations are struggling to prioritize events in the minds of governments who are quite rightly distracted and focusing on the health and well-being of the people around them to control the spread of the pandemic. Tell me, in Dubai, who is leading the conversation? It seems like the corporate voice, the voice of the event industry, is front and center with decision makers.
Yeah, well, a few things that I think that has allowed us to restart the event sector quite quickly, obviously based on a quite detailed set of health and safety guidelines, a protocol that was developed in a very collaborative way between the private sector and the government. We initiated the development of these guidelines from the government, inviting venues, event organizers, and other stakeholders across the event and tourism ecosystem in Dubai to be part of those discussions, ensuring that the health and safety protocols that everyone could have their voice heard, they could provide their input, and in the end also take ownership of those health and safety protocols, ensuring that when events were then put back on, that those protocols that they were then fully implemented. The other thing is that we recognize, and the government at large in Dubai recognize, the important role that events play in transforming economies, transforming societies. So we were really, really keen to get our events back started as quickly as possible, because we know how important they are to get the economy back up. And that's one of the things, obviously, also that governments have been battling throughout the pandemic, is to get the economy restarted. And events that we have in Dubai within some of our key industries and key sectors, they are vital to get the economy going, again. So we really worked with the organizers, allowing them to get their events back on, and the response from them has really, really been fantastic.
Now, obviously, as event professionals, we are dying to get back into the room, to meet our delegates face to face, to bring that material alive inside actual venues. But we should also accept, I think, that audiences may have some hesitancy. What have you learned about making audiences and planners, associations and corporates actually feel safe about getting back into the room?
Well, I must say that, a couple of things. That's those that have attended face-to-face, they've been delighted to come back and attend face-to-face events again. And I think it tells everyone in the industry that face-to-face events, they will not go away. They're here to stay, and they will come back. They will come back very strongly. They will look different, though, and that's where the technology and what we've seen with the integration into hybrid events, that's where we'll see that will continue. We've only, I think, seen the beginning of it. I think it's very exciting. That's the opportunity to reach a larger audience, and the use of technology throughout the events. So much more, I'm sure, will happen in this space. Something that's being embraced, I think, both by organizers and also by delegates. But the response from delegates in coming back, attending face-to-face events, has really, really been fantastic, I think. And I've attended a couple of conferences also in Dubai over the last 6 to 8 months. And my personal experience coming out, meeting some of my local counterparts, stakeholders, and other organizations who we work with, I think that has been so refreshing to be back, being able to interact with people in person again.
There is no doubt a powerful moment when we all join up inside the room. I do think that there is an alchemy. I also think there is just the most amazing opportunity to find that middle ground between in-person and virtual. I think hybrid done well could be a game changer for all of us, but it will only work with real collaboration. And I think one last question that I want to ask, that I'm certain our viewers will be keen to hear an answer to, Steen, is that for events to really come back, to find their feet and get that same ambition that we've had over the last few years, I think there needs to be tremendous joined up thinking, not only between the sector, but between the insurance industry to make it happen, between governments, between those that are planning for our health, safety and security, airlines, and also at the international level. How important has collaboration been for you guys when we look at the multifarious range of stakeholders who must be involved in making hybrid a success in Dubai?
Well, I think collaboration has been the key to success, and it will continue to be the key to success. We have certainly experienced it in Dubai in the restart of the event sector. The whole collaborative approach to developing health and safety guidelines, ensuring they were implemented and so on, getting the sector started again, the support that we could provide from the Tourism and Convention Bureau towards our local private industry stakeholders. It's all based on collaboration. And I think looking at it not just from a destination point of view, but looking at it from a sector point of view and from a global point of view, again, collaboration will be key. I've seen some tremendous collaborative projects across sectors, across different organizations, across different countries and destinations that we didn't see before the pandemic. So I think that's what we'll continue to see, and it will be something that will strengthen our sector. So we all need to be embracing collaboration. We need to take part of it. We need to involve ourselves in it, be open to new ways and new ways of collaboration and new partners to work with. And if we do that, I think it will strengthen us individually as suppliers, as destinations, but also more generally as a sector.
And if we need any more proof that there is an opportunity in these hybrid and virtual events, this has been a great opportunity for me to see what I will look like in the future. Steen, I honestly feel like you and I could be my brother from another mother. We're like identical twins. I think we should see if our parents met at any point in the 80s. There's a good chance we're related. Steen, thank you so much for joining us. Stay there. We will have you join us for a panel in just a few moments. So lots to be inspired by with Dubai, but of course there are many destinations across the world that are investing heavily in making sure that hybrid and virtual can be a game-changing experience. If you want to find more about the work of the team at Dubai, you can see all of the details that you need on screen. So let's look at some of those other destinations now and explore exactly what they're doing to make their next hybrid event not just good but great. And our next guest is Leslie Williams. Leslie took up the post of Managing Director for the Best Cities Global Alliance in January 2020. Now, having worked as Director of Market Development since July 2017 there, but before that, Leslie was Head of Business Tourism Marketing for Edinburgh, where her key focus had been sourcing and bidding for international, global and national conferences and events for the city. Now, Best Cities Global Alliance is an amazing organization that joins up some tremendous destinations. And today in her role, Leslie is passionate about legacy and the many benefits that it can bring beyond just the easily counted bedroom nights. And we're delighted to have Leslie join us here on the virtual Delegate. Leslie, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. It's great to be here. Thank you.
Well, look, so tell me, obviously, you and the team at Best Cities are representing many diverse destinations globally. Who amongst your slate has been really leading the way in making hybrid matter?
Well, I think, there is a slight regional variation in terms of what people are doing. But as an alliance and destinations as a whole have had to really rethink their offering. And the focus nowadays is very much solving the challenges of clients and their delegates. It's getting the audience and getting the engagement. And I think, I did a bit of a straw poll with the Best Cities destinations just to see what the mood and the camp is. And everybody is very upbeat. I think we are becoming more comfortable in our skins, having gone through all the disruption. It's almost like, and it's not rolling with the punches, it's just having to adapt, being nimble and accepting that things are not going to go back to normal. That ship sailed a long time ago, and we have to continually evolve and continually change and continually adapt. And I think that's been the main learning over the last, what is it now, 18 months, a year, 18 months.
Well, it feels like about 12 years, but we're getting there slowly but surely. And Leslie, I know that anytime we go through a crisis, there's really predictable movement from shock to fear and denial and acceptance. You're saying at the minute that the mood is really ambitious about the next steps ahead for the industry.
Yes, I think there's a realization that things are not going to go back to normal. There will be the face-to-face events, and we are huge advocates of the face-to-face events, But there is this digital audience, as Steen has already said, and event planners do not want to lose that audience. So to me, the virtual and the face-to-face have to complement each other. And if you can start with your virtual, you might be able to then convert them to face-to-face. But it's creating a fear of missing out, I think, when you're trying to run a face-to-face event these days. And people need a good, solid reason to travel and to go to a destination for an event. And as I think it was PCMA came out with this not that long ago, networking to make the meaningful connections is one of the main reasons that people are going to events. We're starved of human contact, the serendipitous moments that you get in conferences. That hasn't happened for so long, and people are desperate to get back. But we have to embrace the technology that's coming out that helps us meet online, and sometimes it's more convenient just to log on from your kitchen table. And we have to accept that.
Sometimes it's a lot more comfortable too. My kitchen table's lovely, I've got to say. I've got a brand new one, Leslie, and I've never been happier with it. I do want to ask though, because I know not only personally for you, but for the entire team at Best Cities, legacy is incredibly important. I know that you want to make sure that the events that your destinations are designing or delivering aren't just achieving good things in terms of the plenary session and the great speakers and wonderful networking, but also leaving a lasting impact. How more challenging is that in the hybrid space? Is it easier? Is it harder for us to make that lasting legacy?
I think the hybrid space just gives you a different channel. We work traditionally, and we've always worked with international associations. So what they are looking for is they're looking for channels to amplify the message. And it could be, creating a greater awareness of treatment for a disease. It could be an outreach program to get knowledge out to other areas that maybe can't attend conferences or whatever. So the digital or the virtual gives an extra channel, and it enables people that maybe can't travel to conferences to learn from an event and take that learning back to their own destination, to their own research institute, to their own hospital, whatever it is, and help change lives that way. So I think it's an addition, and it doesn't necessarily make it more difficult. I think it just expands the potential and the reach to create positive impact through meetings.
And I heard you speak recently, Leslie, about hybrid, and I know one of the things that really struck me was this idea that, well, look, okay, we've had a global pandemic. We're all bored of talking about it now. We want to move on and find what this new normal is, but not just find it, but to create it. And perhaps this hybrid model is an incredible legacy that will change events positively forever from the pandemic. And I suppose on that, one question that I'm keen to understand is that, do you think that destinations have a responsibility to educate associations and corporate clients on how good hybrid can be? Because I know out there at the moment, there is this appetite amongst all of our clients to meet, to get back in the room, but also to have high quality virtual experiences. But many don't quite trust it yet. They don't quite believe that it will be the same as turning up to the hotel, having a great drinks reception, a wonderful plenary, and a fantastic closing party. Do we have to educate clients and show them that this truly can be incredible?
I think the role of convention bureaus is changing, or has changed over the last year. We become more facilitators, connectors. And I don't think hybrid is necessarily the answer all of the time. It's sitting down with the client and trying to understand what they're hoping to achieve and advising them and connecting with the right people that can help them achieve whatever those aims might be. And it might be a face-to-face event, a smaller event with different meetings in different parts of the world. I mean, the Best Cities Alliance, we've worked together for years, so to have multi-hubs is easy for us to do that for a client. But it might be a completely virtual event. It might be a combination of both. But I think what we have to educate the associations and the meeting planners is that you have different channels now, and you have a bigger choice, and you have to, our recommendation is to work with the destination and the PCO, if you have one on board, to work out what is best for you that will help you achieve your objective and maybe getting that needle closer to your mission, whatever that might be. So yes, we're not saying it's the final and the one and only answer. We're just saying there's a lot more that you can consider now. There's different channels, and make the most of them.
Absolutely. It's the next step. There are more channels, and in those more channels, there's more opportunity to reach more people. I genuinely think that this will allow us to ultimately bring more people together in the room, virtually, and anywhere in between, and more eyeballs on our message and on our comms. Leslie, thank you so much for taking the time to join us on the Virtual Delegate. We will have you back here in just a few minutes. If you'd like to find out more about the work of Best Cities, then you can find all of their details on the screen. And speaking of wonderful cities, remember, we want you to get involved from wherever you are coming across the world. So leave your comments, your likes, your shares, let your friends and colleagues in the industry know. And if you've missed any episodes, then type the word recordings into the comments, and we will make sure that we send those over to you. So our final guest on the Virtual Delegate today is Rachel McGuckin. Rachel is responsible for promoting Belfast internationally as a leading destination within Visit Belfast. She leads a truly tireless team, and I know that because they never seem to tire. I see them all the time. Responsible for attracting business events to the city that showcase Belfast as a great place to visit, to meet, to work, and also to do business and invest. And we're delighted to have Rachel join us on the Virtual Delegate. Hello, Rachel. How are you?
Hi, good afternoon, David. Good to see you.
It is great to have you join us here. So tell me, Rachel, how prepared is Belfast to exploit the hybrid opportunity?
Okay, so David, Belfast is ranked by the Financial Times as one of the top 10 tech cities of the future. We have the highest availability of connectivity in the UK. So as a city, I guess we have credibility in this space. We are a smart city, and our infrastructure is second to none, which helps. But we do know, of course, that this is not enough. You really need your industry and hotels and venues to be prepared. You need them to embrace and invest in hybrid, to be innovative and totally redesigning events. And that's something I think Belfast has done and is doing really well. In one of our first recovery meetings at the height of COVID, we called out the fact that every event now is likely to have some form of hybrid element. And while that might be a challenge for our traditional models, we needed to rethink, readapt if we're going to remain relevant. And ICC Belfast, I think, is a brilliant example of this. They haven't just pivoted to virtual, they have completely adapted their entire business model and venue, creating a hybrid by design venue with broadcast technology in every single meeting space, a hybrid by design studio, 4K cameras, bringing in production and digital expertise, just really to meet the new needs of event organisers. And in Visit Belfast, we've brought on new partners that are experts in digital and virtual streaming. We've developed a hybrid Belfast package to support our clients, guidance on everything from tech, local TV broadcasters, including your good self, curating virtual experiences. And we also have a support scheme, which actually helps the funding for tech. So we are ready.
Well, that support question is really important, isn't it? Because obviously we heard from Leslie that we do have a bit of a job to encourage and build that confidence in our clients, and from Steen as well, that our job is to show that events can be done safely. What support are you offering for either associations or corporate clients who are considering having a hybrid event in Belfast?
Okay, well, I guess we all recognise, I think, that our industry has been tremendously resilient and innovative, but there's no doubt of the financial pressures faced by our event sector and associations. And our real response and our support is that as a destination, we need to stand with our industry and we need to support and partner with our clients. So I'm delighted to announce that we are just about to launch in the coming weeks a brand new conference support scheme with funding from Belfast City Council and Tourism NI to support events recovery for association conferences. Really practical support. So we're going to be increasing our financial support to £50 per delegate. We've increased our funding. We've over £1 million in funding available. And we're also going to open up the scheme to smaller events of at least 100 bed nights or more. And of course, then around that, as Leslie said, as a DMO, we've adapted and we're providing a lot of free and impartial advice and support. And we're essentially providing a one-stop shop for anyone doing business in Belfast and making that really easy.
And I think that support piece, the advice piece really does matter, doesn't it? Because I think we feel like we need a friend on the ground to help make sure that all of these events, no matter where they are in the world, can go as easy as possible when we're changing the model, changing the shape and the structure of our events. And I suppose the question everyone is asking out there, because it's all industry watching the virtual delegate, is what does your pipeline look like, Rachel? How has it shifted and changed over the last year? And what does it look like moving forwards?
Yeah, well, really positively, David, thankfully. We've actually managed in Visit Belfast to retain over 102 major international business events worth up to 72 million, right up to 2028. We've worked with our clients and industry to reconfigure those events. We're flexible with contracts, and also to retain funding for those events taking place. We've actually secured more new business than was cancelled last year, including the major win. You might have heard the One Young World Summit is coming to Belfast in 2023. And just in 6 weeks' time, Belfast will host the UEFA Super Cup in Belfast. And that's a really big deal for all of the football fans out there. I am married to one. And we are actually on track to double our sales performance this year to really rebuild back to where we are. Now, that shouldn't take away from the challenges on the ground of our sector. And I know many cities and industry have really found these times incredibly hard, but we are incredibly positive about the future. If we can get through the last leg of this incredibly tough journey, we're really confident about the future.
Easy peasy. I can assure you this is absolutely nothing to us. With people like Leslie and Steen and yourself, Rachel, on board, I can tell you the future is obviously bright. So let's bring everyone back up to join us, Steen, Leslie and Rachel. So look, it's been great to have you all on board. Steen, I suppose I'm curious to ask that we've all navigated a certain amount of change over the last year. How important has your team been in navigating all of the lumps and bumps along the way?
Well, I think this has been an experience that none of us could have predicted, and none of us really were prepared for. And I must say, I've been so grateful for being part of the team I'm part of today. How people have been able to adapt, how agile everyone has been, how supportive everyone has been throughout this entire process, how our entire team has come together to support each other, but also support our industry and our stakeholders, both public and private, across the city of Dubai has really been fantastic. Something that I would never have imagined that we would need to, change so dramatically as we've done. I think it's been extremely positive. I'm really proud and grateful for being part of it. And I think, the resilience that everyone has shown really makes, not just our team or Dubai, but I think our entire industry really resilient to face any kind of challenge that would be thrown at our industry in the month and years to come.
Steen, you must have, when you left Copenhagen, thought, oh, I know, great idea. I'm going to pop out to Dubai, lovely sunny weather. This will be an easy few years. I'm certain none of us saw this coming. So I'm delighted to see that you are booming and your team is doing well. And Leslie, I remember I was there in the room when you took up the role as MD of Best Cities. Could you possibly have imagined that this is what you would have been navigating in your tenure?
No, absolutely not. I mean, this was not on my agenda at all. But I have to say, what I've learned over the last year is better use of technology. The way that we work now as a team in Best Cities is so completely different. I mean, we've always been a remote team, but we use Basecamp more than we use emails now. Our interaction is different. I mean, I haven't had an old-fashioned phone call for a long time. We're always face-to-face. So we've learned and we've innovated, we've pivoted, we've reimagined, we've done whatever. But no, it wasn't on the agenda. But in the end, I think, we have to innovate, and it's taught us that we can't stand still. So there's a legacy in COVID, dare I say it.
There is indeed. Rachel, how excited are you and the team at Visit Belfast about the future?
Oh, I think we are. I think the past couple of months, year, feels like 12 years, David, as you say, have been incredibly tough, but it has forced us to adapt, to be resilient. And I think Belfast is nothing if it's not resilient. If you think our industry have been so inspiring to me, because we've built a tourism industry here from the peace process that didn't exist over 20 years ago. And I think that, that resilience and determination to succeed and not give up, and we really value tourism and business events. That's really rallied the city and rallied our industry. So we're feeling good about the future and incredibly proud to be part of this fantastic, talented industry, and of course this wonderful panel today.
Well, I can assure you, Belfast has got through much worse than COVID-19. If anything, COVID-19 should be more afraid of Belfast than we are of COVID-19. So look, I want to thank all three of you, Steen, Leslie and Rachel, for your generosity. We've got loads of great comments and it's wonderful to have you on board. I cannot wait to see all three of you in person sometime very soon.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Take care, everyone. Thank you so much. And of course, thanks to all of you for tuning in every week to the Virtual Delegate. Remember to tag your friends and colleagues in the industry in the comments below so they don't miss out. And I think it's about time that we selected our random chocolate bar winner. So I'm going to look away off to the side to make sure that I cannot see so that it is selected randomly. And our winner is Joe French. Hello, Joe. Joe, send us a little message on LinkedIn. Yes, you're watching us on LinkedIn. Send us a little message there and we will make sure that that chocolate bar gets out to you. Apparently, it's calorie-free, Joe, because when you win things, they don't count towards your Weight Watchers points. They certainly don't in mine anyway. Well, folks, we are back next week for the last episode of this season of the Virtual Delegate. So make sure that you tune in. I hope you're all staying safe as well. I hope we'll catch up with you soon. I'll see you next time on the Virtual Delegate.